You know, sometimes being a Chicago Bulls fan makes me want to kill myself. Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already and drop a like on this video. It helps the video do better in the YouTube algorithm, so it is much appreciated. Also, especially if you're somebody who watches my main channel videos, the quality of these videos is going to be increasing a little bit here, so if you don't like the bare minimum, I'm going to try to do a little bit more than the bare minimum around here. The Chicago Bulls. I just watched them in person, it was a couple days ago, and I'm just now getting to it because I'm bad at my job, but I watched the Charlotte Hornets play the Chicago Bulls in person in Charlotte. I think we were in row 7, so it was a pretty good view, close enough to where you could very easily hear what the players were saying and stuff like that. And they lost. And the manner in which they lost was particularly egregious because, first of all, the Charlotte Hornets are one of the worst teams in basketball. I believe they have like the second worst record in the NBA, somewhere in that ballpark. And more importantly, you know, given that they have Lamelo Ball back, who has been individually phenomenal for them, you would think that, okay, if you lost to the Hornets, maybe Lamelo went off and you can just excuse it with that. But no, Lamelo Ball, anytime I have seen him in person, I don't know what it is with him. Anytime I'm in the Charlotte Hornets arena, Lamelo Ball has a bad game. I have seen him live maybe 6 or 7 times now. I can't think of a single game where he had 20 points. I don't think it happened. And in this one, he was really bad. He shot very poorly from the field. I mean, he brought what he did as a playmaker, but in terms of putting the ball in the basket, LaMelo Ball was pitiful in this one, as he kind of always is whenever he plays the Bulls, or at the very least whenever I see him in person, because he's also done this against other teams. I know there was a game where he played against the Bucks that I saw in person, and it was rough to watch. So it wasn't LaMelo Ball. LaMelo's great, but he's never been great when I was there. Mason Plumley had a 20-10 game against the Bulls, and he ended it off by hitting a pull-up off of the dribble, like did a little dribble move before he did it, mid-range jump shot. Now, mind you, he shot this with his left hand, and I don't know if he's left-handed or right-handed, but I believe it might be ambidextrous because I happen to know that he has changed hands for his free throw routine because he's an abysmal free throw shooter. He's also an abysmal shooter, period. So I'm pretty sure he started off right-handed, took this jumper left-handed, swished it right through to put the game away. Now, things were definitely leaning toward the Bulls were going to lose this one, but in this case, he put the game away. The nail in the coffin, as you will, was put in by Mason Plumley. And honestly, I can't think of a better way to summarize what the Chicago Bulls are at this point. There's really only to think about the players that have gamed on the Bulls, the players that have hit a game winner on the Bulls in the last couple of years. There is Damian Lee. There is Kyle Kuzma. Mason Plumlee, it wasn't a game winner, but still. Kyle Kuzma's like good now, but like, come on. But like, especially like Damian Lee hit a game winner on us. I know there is other ones. Never is it really the star players who do that stuff to us, other than Dame. That's the example I was thinking of. And frankly, it goes undermentioned the fact that Damian Lillard hit 2 insane threes with 11 seconds left on the clock, back-to-back, to beat the Chicago Bulls, who had a 5-point lead. Like, one of them was from the parking lot, and the other one was a sidestep over a 7-footer. Both of them dropped. Undermentioned. But historically, the Bulls always lose to tend to lose to bad teams. This year they've been better. They've been worse against the bad teams, but good against the good teams. Last year they were good against the good teams and bad against the bad teams. So I guess this year in general they've been better against the bad teams. But also lately they're starting to just lose, period. And I've expressed my feelings on this Bulls team plenty of times, so I'm not exactly sharing anything new here. But like, I can't do this anymore. I don't watch Bulls games. They're probably the team that I watch the least in the league at this point because it hurts. Like, anytime, that's not true. I've probably actually watched the Bulls plenty. But at this point, when it comes to, hey, this team's on TV, should you watch them? I'm never excited to watch a Bulls game. I can't think of a single time other than early on in this year when I still had a glimmer of hope. I was like, maybe they'll turn it around this year after fumbling an otherwise amazing start last year. But no, just nothing but disappointment. At this point, I'm fully in favor of blowing the team up, even if the Magic end up getting the 5th pick. I don't really give a shit. So I'm fully in favor of that idea. And I'm realizing lately, every time I watch a Bulls game, 2 things. And really, the 2 standouts are not what you would think to be the standouts, but for me, it really comes down to Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Not just what they are together, because their net rating when they play together has always been rough. The net rating when they play with Vooch is rough, which you would think, 3 players who in the last 4 years have been all-stars, and they all suck when they play together. But that's not what stands out to me. Really just looking at them as individuals. I have huge gripes with Zach LaVine and at this point DeMar DeRozan as well. Because, bless him, and it's not necessarily his fault, but DeMar DeRozan, I think the biggest problem that exists with him is that the types of shots that he gets are just not efficient enough. Like, even if you're a super good mid-range shooter, which he has continued to be this year, it's still not a great shot. Like, even if you shoot 50% from mid-range, you're getting a point per possession when you do that, which is good, but with the pace in which basketball is played today, it's not unbelievable. I think, like, even shooting, that's the equivalent of shooting 33% from 3, is shooting 50% from mid-range, because both of them equal 1 point per possession, per attempt. So if he was instead someone who shot 36% from 3 and did those threes instead of those mid-range shots, that's more points per possession. And that simple math is really the problem with the Bulls. Because in this game, the Charlotte Hornets missed 17 consecutive threes. 17 in a row. And they outdid the Bulls in 3-point percentage, 3-point makes, and obviously 3-point attempts. The Hornets missed 17 in a row and beat the Bulls in the 3-point battle. And that's because our franchise player, the main player that this team is dedicated to, is DeMar DeRozan, who does his work inside the paint. And even if he does it at an elite level, it's still ultimately work inside the paint. And still ultimately the Bulls are not taking the threes that they need to. So on the flip side, you take that over to Zach LaVine. And Zach LaVine is one of the best 3-point shooters in basketball, especially one of the best off of the bounce 3-point shooters. So you'd think that then that means I'm this super big Zach LaVine guy, but his decision making, I've gotten to a point where I can't look at it. I can't look away anymore. I can't excuse it anymore. I can't see Zach LaVine make a dumbass decision, possession after possession, in clutch moments. This is the thing. A lot of Bulls fans argue that Zach LaVine should be getting the ball more in the clutch. I could not disagree more. Zach LaVine is so bad in crunch time that he can't really be a franchise player either. So right now, the Bulls are straddling these 2 perimeter players who both equally have issues that make them just not effective enough as franchise players. And you're banking off of one of those 2 every night to carry you, if not both of them, which rarely ever happens. And one way or the other, you're picking your poison in terms of which player is leading the ship. If you have Zach LaVine doing it, you're going to have playmaking and decision-making issues. If you have DeMar DeRozan doing it, even if he's doing it well, overall your offense is not generating enough points on enough efficiency because 3-point shooting is too essential. You can't just not shoot threes. And for some reason, the Chicago Bulls think they can just not shoot threes. And I understand someone like Lonzo Ball coming back makes a difference, but this is an issue that is a problem from the fundamental build of this roster. There's nothing else to blame it on. It is fundamentally broken. The structure of this team cannot win at the highest level in the NBA with the players that it has. And even just Even just a few trades, even just a few extra players who can shoot, it's not enough. It's fundamentally broken. And I'm done with it.